Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Krisell Valenzuela, and I am a multidimensional medium, an Akashic Records reader, an energy healer, and a spiritual development coach. Just going to give me a second while I check to make sure that the feed is working. Let's see here. Hey Lisa, awesome. So it's working. Let me just double check on my Facebook page. So you may notice that it looks a little different today, and it's because I set up a StreamYard. So it looks really great. I created this overlay, and I'm actually streaming into my Twitch, which is totally new to me. I have never used Twitch before. I'm also broadcasting to YouTube, and then it's my lovely Facebook friends. Hey Wendy, hey Stacy, thanks so much for joining. So I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes to let people join. Hi Bijal, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I'm going to include in the comments here, I'm going to be sharing how to get a reading with me. So do not share anything. I like to start off by walking the group through a grounding meditation so that we can all just let go of everything, come as we are into this container and release everything so that we can just be very clear about our intention so that we could receive the messages that we need to hear. So I'll walk us through a meditation and then walk you through instructions on how to request a reading. But just to give you an idea, I do these psychic demonstrations so that people can get an idea of what it's like to work with me, to get familiar with my energy. So if you would like a full reading or would like a full energy healing, please head over to my website, and that's www.krisellcan.com to book with me. Now, there is another reason why I like to do these psychic demonstrations, and it's so that people that aren't familiar with psychism, mediumship, that they can have a taste of it and see that it's really not whatever they thought it was. And I share that coming from a place of, I was raised Catholic. I was always very scared of spirits. I wouldn't have called them spirits. I would have called them ghosts. I would have called it a haunting. And I would have assigned every negative word to whatever it was. And so it wasn't until almost 2 years ago that I actually started to explore psychic abilities and spirituality. And so that's the other reason why I like to do these psychic demonstrations, so that people can see it's not harmful. And it's also not what it's portrayed as on media. I mean, I know that when you watch a TV show or a movie, they portray it as someone is getting crystal clear, exact messages to relay. And sometimes evidential mediumship can be that way, where they're like, the name is this, their birthday was this. But that is, I don't want to call it a rarity, but that's more or less not how it works. When I receive messages, I have this full sensory experience where I may hear words, music, lyrics, hear tones. I see images, and it's all about interpretation. And so another part of my practice is helping people understand their own paradigm, understanding how their communication is coming through. So, shameless plug, this Saturday at 10 a.m., I have a virtual psychic development circle in which I teach people how to read, and I also teach them how to understand their own psychic vocabulary, understand their own mechanics. So it's open to all levels, and I give everyone homework so that they can continue the work. All right, so when I give you guys the opportunity, please do not share anything about what you would like your reading to be about. I would like you to rather think about your intention. And then after the meditation, as you think about your intention, I'll invite you to choose an emoji and just drop your emoji in the comments. And then I will read your emoji. I'll let Spirit guide me to which emoji to choose. So I know my mic is really sensitive and my neighbor's dog is barking. And it's a little warm, so I need to keep the window open. But I hope it's not too loud. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and take a comfortable position. And we're going to start with a meditation. So go ahead and as you find your comfortable position, and that could be sitting up, sitting back, laying down, standing up, whatever is comfortable for you, go ahead and gently close your eyes. And we'll begin by taking 3 deep clearing breaths. Let's begin by inhaling through the nose. Hold it. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Hold it. Exhale through the mouth. Last one. Inhale through the nose. Hold it. And exhale through the mouth. And allow your breath to return to its normal rhythm. Bring your awareness to the top of your head, and we're going to follow a waterfall of energy as it washes over our head, washing away and clearing any energy that no longer serves us, melting our muscles, releasing the tension of our jaw, and washing it and carrying it down to our neck. Feel the strength of this wave flowing down you, washing over your shoulders, your collarbone, your shoulder blades. Feel it. Relax your shoulders as they loosen and feel lighter. Feel this wave of energy continue down your back, relaxing and calming you. Feel the energy as it continues to move down the small of your back, over your stomach. Allow it to flow down your hips, releasing the tension and softening your muscles as it continues over your thighs, down to your knees, washing over your calves, over your ankles and flowing over your feet as it soaks into the ground. As the energy soaks into the ground, you watch it transform into roots. Watch as these roots filter down through the earth, traveling through different layers of sediment, alternating from stone to creeks and bodies of water below the ground. Watch as it continues to journey down through magma, down to the earth's core. Observe as your roots anchor into the earth's core, helping you feel grounded and stable. Watch as the earth's core illuminates and pulses with a divine white light. Watch as your roots drink up this white light, as this light travels up your root system, back the way it came down, and feel as the current enters into your body through the soles of your feet. Watch as the energy moves up, up, up through your root chakra into your sacral chakra, into your solar plexus, to your heart. Feel the warmth and wholeness that this energy brings to your heart. Now continue to watch the energy as it moves into your throat chakra, up into your brow, and up into your crown. Watch as the energy grows out of your crown, spreading branches like a tree. Welcome a column of white light energy from the universe. As your branches welcome and receive this energy, and it moves back down your chakra system, balancing and making you whole. Now visualize a golden bubble forming around you, and watch that golden bubble fill with a warm, comforting light. This light serves to help you be more aware of your energy and your field as others enter and come into contact with your field. This bubble serves to help you stay in this bubble. It's not to keep out any energies, but rather to give you the choice to allow any energies to stay or to send them away. Now take a moment here to take a few breaths, and I want you to think about your intention for the reading today. Whether that be a person that you'd like to connect with or a question that you have, take a moment to think of this intention and just allow it to expand and to grow. Hold this energy of your intention over your heart and allow your heart to connect with it. And when you're ready, you can bring your awareness back to your fingers and back to your toes. And you can gently open your eyes and you can drop an emoji when you are ready. Now, the one thing that I ask is that you share how the reading resonates for you after the reading, because that will help other people see how it's helped you, and they will feel more comfortable or come closer to participating, whether it be them asking for their own reading, or them, maybe they are psychic and it helps them come closer to accepting their psychic self. But disclaimer, we're all psychic. We are all psychic. Hey, Mary, thank you so much for joining. All right. Hey, Melissa, thanks so much for joining. Ooh, okay. So if you've just joined, I'm just sharing the instructions here to receive a reading. So I'm just going to leave that up for a second, and I'll leave that up while you guys drop your emojis, and then I'll jump into the readings. Something that I also want to share is raise your hand. Drop me a hand emoji if you guys have been feeling like the energy is just wild right now. Let me know if you guys have been feeling like unbridled with your emotions. I mean, that's totally me right now. And just yesterday, I was writing up a blog post and I had to stop multiple times because I just started crying so heavily. The post is about my grandma, so keep an eye out for it. And it's about my grandma and how exploring my psychic self has brought me closer to knowing her more. And so, I mean, usually I'm pretty like collected, but it's this, I was just talking to one of my mentors, and it's this energy, it's the planets, it's the eclipse, it's the full moon, it's everything. So if you guys are feeling crazy right now, and you're not crazy, you're having a human experience. But if you're having this human experience with me, I want to invite you to watch a video that I created, and it's awesome because it brings everything full circle for me. I created this video about this time last year, I want to say, and it's about energetic hygiene. So while we can't control what the energy is like, we can support ourselves in how we manage and run our energy. And so this video is all about how we can clear our energy and how physical hygiene, whether it be washing your hands, whether it be brushing your teeth, how that affects our energetic hygiene. So I'm going to share that video in the show description notes, but you can always head to my website, which is right there, krisellcan.com. If you go to my blog and you hit the keyword audio/video, it's the first video I've ever posted. So you can also check that out there. All right, so let's see, we got some emojis here. So we're going to jump into the readings. So I'm going to start with, Melissa, you were the first one, so I'm going to start with yours. Just going to give me a second to connect here. So I feel like the first thing I see, so I feel like you have a question and it almost feels like you have someone that you want to connect with too. But the first thing I see is it's like I see you, And this is why I feel like you have a question about yourself. And it feels like a question not necessarily to be answered by whoever wants to come forth for you. But the way they show me, so your higher self shows me you, and it looks like you're kind of like squatting or making yourself small. That you're showing yourself, but you're making yourself small. And maybe it's this angle that they're showing me you at, but it's like this idea that you're making yourself small, and your higher self, this avatar I see of you, is nodding yes, like yes, you are making yourself small. And when you stand up, it's like, oh, she's cool. She looks like she's wearing like a black leather jacket, and you look really hip. But this black leather jacket, mostly, what I get from that. So number one, black. Whenever I see black, it's the divine feminine, and what it tells me is that you are very feminine. You have this very feminine energy. When we think of black, a lot of times it gets a bad rap that like, oh, black is evil. But really, black, if you think about the divine feminine, it's about being in the flow and just trusting and being able to go with ebbs and flows wherever they go. And so when you think of that, it's like you go into darkness and you can't see anything, but you have nothing to go off of but your intuition and trusting yourself. And so that's what the divine feminine is all about, is about trusting yourself to know, trusting yourself to be equipped to make those decisions or take the actions that are needed. So as I'm kind of looking at you, some of the things that I notice is that it kind of reminds me of like gutter punks, how there's like rivets or that like metal embellishments on the jacket. So this jacket represents a couple things. I say two things, so it feels like the two things that are most prominent is that when I think of jackets, I think of this really snug but durable fit. So it feels like if you don't trust your intuition, you're not giving it enough credit, because it fits you like a glove is one thing. And then also it's because it's durable. It's durable. And it can withstand more than you think it can. When I see these rivets on the shoulder, it's on the shoulder, so that in particular sticks out to me. It tells me that it feels like you're trying to protect yourself from the burden or the pressures of does it have to do with being in the flow and being hella psychic? No. It feels like boundaries. It feels like you didn't place these rivets there, but you got this jacket, the symbolic jacket, to help protect you, which is why it has the rivets there. And when I say boundaries, it has to do with how other people affect you. Do you need these rivets there? Do you need a tool, a resource, support to respect these boundaries, to maintain these boundaries? Your higher self says no. So what is it about these boundaries that she needs to? It's funny because everything that's screaming about this image that they're showing me is that you are one to trust yourself, that you are one to be very connected with your intuition and the divine feminine. But the fact that you have these barriers in place, and it feels like these barriers because you don't trust yourself. It's all ironic and could feel very confusing. And then it goes like this. And you probably can't see because of my little overlay, but it pounds on the chest where the heart is. And it's pounding on the chest because it feels like it's signifying, you know what your heart feels like. So let that guide you. If you want to go to my blog, Melissa, and you click on that audio video keyword, I have a meditation in there that helps you connect with your heart chakra and let that guide you. And it feels like when you have these moments, so I see a dragon. And so for me, it feels like when you have these moments where you're really not sure and when you want to set your boundaries, You can actually call, like, it feels like you have a dragon guide, and you can call this dragon is like a dark purpley black color, and then it looks like it has like a orangey red chest. This dark purpley black color, it feels like it's all about that third eye and psychic manifestation type of energy. But you can call, it feels like you can call upon this dragon in particular to help you when you feel like you need support with protection. And that goes for anyone. Whenever you feel particularly fearful or insecure or doubtful of yourself, what's happening is that you're actually feeling into someone else's energy. And so you can always just make the decision to say, you could just make the command, I send you away. Because it is your free will and your choice whether or not you will interact with that energy. And so you can send it away. So going back to Melissa, this dragon that comes up, whenever I see symbols, when it's a new symbol to me, a lot of times I get it as this cartoony looking thing. And that's because I grew up on cartoons, and so that's the most comfortable and easiest to digest for me for something new. But it feels like I need to let you know that this is a friendly dragon, that this dragon is your dragon. This is your dragon guide. I wonder if you mentioned that you're having trouble trusting your intuition. I wonder if you are understanding of like the draconian or reptilian energies, and if that could be why it's seeking. That's my husband, so don't be scared. I wonder if you are familiar with them, and so there's some kind of like hesitation or resistance to working with them, because everyone knows like, oh, Anunnaki, reptilian energy, draconian energy, it's not cool. But really, it's all a matter of perspective and evolution. And I say that because they are beings with their own guided intention for a higher good, but they're not perhaps evolved in their perspective of what the higher good really is. Okay, so you wrote that you're not familiar with them. Okay, so why is it? So I get this. If you have not connected, so if you have not connected with guides before, one of the ways that you can work with this dragon is to visualize this dragon. Visualize it any way that you wish to visualize. It could look any way that you want, but begin with visualizing it, so as to invite it into your practice and get to know it. Get to know how it makes you feel. See if it activates in you your heart space. Let that be your filter. Let that be your guide of, is this something that I want to work with? And as you get to know it, talk to it out loud, write it letters. All those things help to fortify your connection with this dragon. And these are all tips that you can do to work with any type of guide. But it feels like working with this guide, he's showing me, it's like he's flying and lifting you up while you guys are spiraling. So it definitely means that, there's going to be an elevation, and this dragon is going to help raise you up and, dare I say, ascend you. But not ascend you in the way that like necessarily there's going to be multiple dimensional ascensions, but it's going to help lift you up. The air energy, the air element is all about our minds and our understanding and our beliefs. And so this spiral movement, the path is a spiral. So as you find yourself coming across situations, experiences that you've had before, you will find yourself in a different perspective, in that you won't repeat the pattern, that you will see a different perspective of the situation so that you could break through it and move on. Okay, Dragon says that's it. So thank you so much for allowing me to read for you, Melissa. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm just going to disconnect with your energy. So I do want to share, because all this crazy emotional dynamism that we're experiencing right now has a lot to do with how we are managing our energy. And so I know I said I'm going to share the video in the notes, but clearing energy could, having a consistent clearing energy practice is really important, especially at this time. I feel like I need to talk about it because it's something that I just talked about with one of my mentors today. But it all gets answered in the video, and I'd rather just stick to readings today. By the way, if you join into my psychic development circle this Saturday, I am going to begin with a lecture on spiritual protection and self-sovereignty. Okay, so Mary Rimbeck Wizala. I hope you're still here. Drop me an emoji, Mary, to let me know that you're still around, because I would love to read for you next. And Mary, if you're not here, I'll actually jump to Wendy Michelle Miller afterwards. And if you ladies aren't around, let's see who else. Oh, cool. You're both here. So I'm going to start with Wendy. I'm going to start with Mary, and then Wendy, please stick around because I'll go to you next. All right. So Mary, whenever I start with rubbing hands, it means that there's going to be an element of energy healing here. So I'm just going to take a look at your field. It looks like cotton freaking candy. Excuse me. Oh, gas. Okay. So when I look at your field, when I look at like the very core, like what's closest to you, it looks like a very thick cloud of this lilac. It's a very pale lavender color cloud, and it looks like cotton candy, or very thick, like someone took cotton balls and just wrapped it around you. So I'm just going to loosen that up a bit. And to explain what I'm doing, when I see this very thick energy, what it's telling me is that it's like the energy from your crown has it feels like when people stress out and they have high cortisol levels. So it feels like your crown has gone overactive, that it's just kind of taken over all of this space all the way down to like to your heart chakra area. So it's from like up here down to right below where your heart is, maybe right above where your solar plexus is. And so if you're feeling, oh yes, you're feeling like it feels like overwhelm from other like external energies, and that's not to say spirits, but just could be from other people you think of, people thinking of you, and that's what's making it so damn thick and dense and opaque. And so what I'm doing here is I'm kind of massaging the crown to help heal it. And for you, you may feel me in your field, because that's normal, that happens. But what I'm doing, because even your crown, it looks like it's, your crown chakra looks like a flat donut, looks like a donut, and we want it to be like round. So I'm massaging it to help give its structure back. and I feel like I need to tone. So if you guys are not down with my toning, which is not singing, it's toning, you can mute this part. Okay. Now what's next? What's next? Okay, it looks like there's a lot of golden energy right underneath your crown around your head. I feel like that can stay there, but I feel like I need to let it rain down and just kind of come down and be evenly dispersed. Okay, so I feel like I need to massage my third eye, and that it's also massaging yours. And this you may want to take some deep breaths with. So I feel like I had to massage your third eye because it feels like you have thoughts constantly running through your head. And so to give you the grace and space to be able to think with clarity and have focus, that we're just kind of massaging it there. Sometimes people do this exercise to decalcify their third eye and to awaken their clairvoyance. But you can, I mean, it's a muscle. So basically what I'm doing here, and you can do this, you guys can do this too. But what I'm doing here is I'm massaging it, and it's to, like a muscle, you're just relaxing it. Okay, so Spirit is guiding me to insert funneling and feeding it with energy. Okay, what's next? What's next? I see like a black bandage around your throat. And this bandage tells me that your throat chakra, like you've had communication issues. Okay, so this black bandage, when I look at it, it reminds me of kind of like when people use the virtual backgrounds and it has like that cosmic background. It looks like it's space and the sky. And what I see on your throat is this bandage that looks like that. And so it feels like, is this Akashic Records stuff? Is this past life stuff? My guides are telling me no. Does this have to do with planetary alignments, astrology? Okay. I know that I'm not an expert at astrology. I'm hardly even a novice, but it feels like this bandage around your neck. I know that the recent lunar eclipse was in Gemini. And I get my guides are telling me it does have to do with what's going on in the sky right now, what's going on with your communication. So it feels like I'm trying to see if I need to do something, because it feels like this bandage around your neck should not be removed. It feels like you're going through some healing with this. Let's see. It says just give it an energy ball. Okay. So I'm just creating this ball of energy and filling it with love and compassion. And I read something last night that said redemption is through compassion and love. So whatever you may have said before and whatever damage or consequences it may have had, have compassion and grace for yourself, because you are evolving. And it may feel like you had like a lump or a frog enter your throat. It may feel a little tight because I felt that right now. So just make sure we're doing a lot of energy work right now on your field. So just make sure that after this, if you feel like resting, let yourself rest. And if you 100% drink lots of water. Drink lots of water because it'll help all of this. Think about like when you go to a chiropractor, or you get a massage and you kind of want things to stay in place because you just got aligned. Well, drink water because it will help move out everything else that needs to be expelled, and it will also help help you integrate and blend with what's happening. Okay. So they show me your heart chakra, and it looks good. It's a nice jewel grass green color. So I just feel like I need to seal you up. I'm wrapping you with a golden light. And I'm just grounding you into the earth to help you feel stable and anchored, and helping to put power, earth power, grounding power behind the work that we just did. And what Spirit shows me is it looks like you hugging yourself and just having joy in it. So a lot of what you've been experiencing prior to this, just don't beat yourself up. Everyone is going through so many emotions, and on top of it, we've been in this pandemic for how many months? I've been working from home for the last 8-9 months now. And I know it's tough, and I know it really forces us to be with ourselves and to process a lot of things that we normally would have just, put under a pile of something else and moved on with our life. So have grace with yourself. So, all right, Mary, thank you so much for letting me do that energy work for you. I hope that was helpful. Okay, so Wendy, it is your turn. Mary, I'm just going to disconnect with your energy. All right. I need to drink more water. Wendy. Okay, Wendy. So when I look into your field, I see, it feels like there's a guide there with you. And this guide, it comes off as masculine, and he shows up looking like, I feel like he's a priest, and not a priest in the Christian Protestant meaning, but priest in terms of like the spiritual leader or spiritual teacher. And the way I see him, it's like you see a lot of spiritual people wearing boxy, androgynous linen clothing, or it might even be muslin, or it looks like a potato sack, basically. But it's just this very gender neutral color type of clothing, and that's what I see. And if I had to describe him, he just looks like a regular Euro white man, older man, bald. He has very white hair. And let me just see what he wants to share with you. I mean, the first thing he shows me is he's very zen. And when I see him, it's interesting because I usually just see them head on, and then, maybe they start communicating with me, but it's like I keep seeing him in different angles. Like I'm looking at him from below, looking at him from above, and he's kneeling on what looks like a prayer yoga mat, and he's just meditating, and he's very still. And then he comes out of it and he goes, it's like he puts his arms out and he's welcoming you. So it feels like a call to meditate, which, if you had a practice and you've kind of fallen off your meditation ritual, your consistency, I get it. So do I. I have been in that space too. So I kind of get this feeling that you feel like it's hard to stand up. Like maybe you feel unsupported, because I see you. And first, the priest shows me he's holding you very tightly. It's almost like he's, it confused me because I'm like, wait, is that a consented hug? Because it's so tight, but I realize he's holding you up. So it's like he wants to let you know that he is here to support you. So, we talk about divine feminine energy and divine masculine, and the divine feminine is about being in the flow, and the masculine is about having structure and action. And what it feels like is, if you feel like you're constantly in the flow, or you feel like it's harder for you to be structured, that you don't have to worry about knowing what to do. Or that's not what I mean. You don't have to worry about knowing exactly what to do, but to just follow the lead, follow the hunches, to follow where you're being guided, because you don't need to be perfect or at where you think you need to be. All you need to do is take the baby steps, because this priest guide, is here to support you and help you with those masculine aspects. He doesn't even, so I was wondering, so if you let go, what will happen to her? And I was expecting to see him let you go and you dropping, but what he does is he is actually holding you very tightly, supporting you, and gradually bringing you to your knees, to the ground, to help you connect in meditation. And meditation, it feels like, meditation is going to be helpful for you because it's all about building self-awareness. People often think that you have to sit in Zen or silence for however long in order to do meditation, but it could be a breath. Just allow yourself to reconnect with yourself and build your self-awareness from there. So as I'm explaining this, I'm like, okay, there's your baby step. Take a deep breath. Let that be your first step to getting back into a meditative routine. And I feel like there's a remembrance of what brings you joy, because when I see you, he's supporting you, holding you as you meditate, that it's like an avatar jumps out of you, and there's this other part of you that is dancing circles around you in this very graceful, slow movement, but it feels very free and connected and at peace. And it feels like if you can come back to this place, that you will reconnect with that and you can find that again. Dancing also means for me this kind of movement of reawakening the self and giving movement to your whole body. So, every part of our body is connected energetically to something different within our mental, emotional wellness. And when you let certain parts of your body go dormant, it usually explains certain parts of your mental, emotional being neglected. And so having this movement, whether it be, you know, rolling your shoulders, and it doesn't even need to look graceful. It's for you. It's not for anyone else. So however funky it looks, but give your body movement and reawaken all these different parts. And that is going to be a big part of allowing you to let that energy give movement, get movement. If you're, so this feeling of not feeling adequate for the structure, or feeling disconnected from the structure, or not feeling like you have that balance, it feels like there's a lot of energy running through your system, but that you're holding on to some, whether it be conscious or unconscious. And so this movement is going to help you release the unconscious parts. Okay. What else? So I keep seeing this character, and it's a TV show character, and her name was Luna. And so Luna, because we just had the lunar eclipse and full moon situation, but it also is this person who represents, she represents this culture of being very primal and aggressive and violent. And she is a 100% part of that culture, and has contributed to that culture, has perpetuated that culture, was raised in that culture. But she makes this decision to break from her culture and live her own path, which is to have peace and to not support violence, not to partake in violence, and so on and so forth. And so as I see her character, it feels like you are going through this process of breaking from the paradigm that you were raised in, and finding your own path, and really coming into that. And so there could also be this darkness that you're experiencing because, like I mentioned for the first reading, the path is a spiral. So you never truly extinguish or escape any experience. It's always going to resurface in your experience. But what changes is how you interact with it, how you confront it. Maybe it's not even confronting. Maybe you see it as, oh, yeah, I did that. Okay, bye. But it's just this idea to, it's just this idea that you need to have grace, even gratitude for where you came from, no matter the situation, because it's a big part of how you got to be who you are today and where you are now, and how you got to have the evolution that you're experiencing. So this avatar, this Lunar Avatar representation of your higher self is telling me that that's it. So I hope that is helpful. I hope that's helpful. I'm just going to disconnect with your energy, Wendy. So the time went by incredibly fast. And so I hope you guys will join me next week at the same time. What I'd like to do is pull a card for the collective. And this is my first time using StreamYard, so I'm sorry if it's backwards. Ah, how fitting. This is to the High Priestess. And so the High Priestess, and it's the High Priestess reversed. So the High Priestess is all about combining your intuition and your knowledge and going beneath the veil, traversing the veil. And so what it's asking is, how are you holding yourself back from making that connection? Two is all about duality and balance. How are we experiencing these polar opposite energies? And how are we bringing them together to find where we fit in the middle? So regardless of what you grew up with and what you believe in, how will you take, because you get a choice, you get to choose, but how will you take what you want to keep and integrate that and alchemize it into the life that you want to live, into your purpose, into your joyful life, into your bliss? What is that? And when I take a look at this card, it's all about envisioning and how you see things. It's your perspective. So whatever perspective that you're at right now, if you could send it love and compassion, and you could do it as, hey, I love you, this perspective that I have right now, and feel that melt within you. I tell my kids when they're fighting that they have to hug each other and say, I love you, man. And it diffuses the situation. So it helps you, it kind of helps shake you out of whatever feelings you're having in that moment, and helps you kind of come back to ask yourself, what am I going through and what can I take away from this? How can I transform this into something that benefits me? And that's all that it is. That's what this high priestess wants to tell you, y'all. So let's see. It's all about seeing. And I will end it there. So check back to this video because I will put a link for my energy clearing video. It's a great practice to have right now, especially with the holidays and the kind of feelings and emotions that can bring up, and interactions with our family that it can bring up, and even with the pandemic and people's differing opinions on what's safe and what's not, what that can bring up. So take a look at that video. I have an event, the Psychic Development Circle, this Saturday, and then next weekend I have a group reading, which I spend 2 hours reading. Whoever joins, and I limit it to 6 people. And then I also have a Connecting and Working with Your Spirit Guides class not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And so if you'd like to learn how to connect with them and how to work with them to manifest the life that you'd like to live, then please join me. I would be so honored. So thanks again. And I hope you guys catch me again, same place next week at 5 p.m. Goodbye, everyone.